Hey Grizzlies fans, my name is Jacob Holmes and I wanted to welcome you to the first Grizzlies Coaches Corner of the season. Today I am joined by none other than the big boss, head coach Tyler Veen. Each week we will join a Grizzlies staff member and a player and kind of go over what's been going on in the past week and behind the scenes of the Grizzlies organization. So I want to thank Tyler for joining me today. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. No, I'm doing good. Had a good day of practice today to start off the week and look forward to kicking off this show and chatting every week.
Awesome, for sure. So yeah, let's just jump into it then, So we are now 5 weeks into the NA3HL season. The Grizzlies stand at 5-2-1, and we sit third in the Central Division. Tyler, how are you feeling about the team's progress so far over the first month of the season?
I think pretty good. I mean, early on we struggled a little bit out of the gate just with new guys in different roles. It's starting to come together in that regard. We have some returners, but guys that weren't playing as pivotal roles as they were last year. A lot of depth guys. Joyce, our captain, he returning as kind of a middle six forward last year, and now he's elevated into the captaincy role, obviously, and looking to him to lead. But just he's one of many examples of guys stepping into new roles, trying to find their footing, along with new guys trying to find their way, playing junior hockey for the first time. It's always an adjustment. Guys coming from high school, AAA hockey, it's different. You're playing big boys. You're competing for spots every single day, so it's a lot mentally. But where we're at as a group right now, I think we're learning some valuable lessons along the way that's going to set us up for success down the stretch as we continue to grow here.
For sure. So this week, we saw our first two Western Division opponents of the season, now that we moved back to the Central. Two familiar faces, Granite City Lumberjacks and Alexandria Blizzard. So we managed to split the weekend. I wanted to know how you felt about the boys jumping in and, being able to play at that Western Division pace of play that we saw all season last year.
Yeah, I think, honestly, when you look at Western Division, Central Division, there's no nights off when it comes to that. I mean, obviously, The only difference I see within the Western and Central Division is the travel times. Right? It's still, you got to still show up every single night. But pertaining to this past weekend, I mean, the Granite City game, that's something the boys had circled on their calendar. Obviously, they kind of had our number last year. They knocked us out of the playoffs. They know how big of a game that was. And I think we responded well. We had a hot start, first 10 minutes of the game, right? We scored 2 and we're up 2-0, kind of let the wind out of our sails a little bit. And Granite City does what Granite City does. They came back, made it 2-2. And then it was a back and forth hockey game. Not a lot of push, not a lot of give, right? It's just kind of back and forth, see what happens. And they ultimately they take advantage of our one mistake that we made, right? They made one less mistake than we did, and they capitalized on it, and they ultimately win 3-2. It was a high-paced, high-energy game, intense. I think it was good for our group to experience that. Obviously, we'd like to come out with a win up there in that barn. It's always a tough place to play. Got a lot of respect for those guys. It's always good to see that coaching staff play against one another, and it was fun. It was fun for sure. And then switching, quick turnaround Sunday against Alexandria, another tough opponent, right? They were coming off a 3-3, right? They played Friday and Saturday. We had a late game Saturday night, quick turnaround. You get back late, and then you got to show up here at the rink 1 o'clock and play at 3 o'clock. I felt like the first two periods, both teams were kind of sleepwalking a little bit. It was tough to get going for us, and we just kind of had to come together as a group, get excitement going in the building. It's hard, like I said, you're tired, you got bus legs, you didn't get much sleep the night before, but I thought we responded well in the third period, escaped with a 1-goal win against Alexandria. But I think now going into this week against Alex again, it's going to be a 7 o'clock game. They're going to be rested up. They're not going to be playing their third game in 3 days, but it's going to be a good test. Overall, happy with the weekend. Obviously, we would have wanted to win both, but it's all learning experiences. You just got to view it positively as you continue to stack them up and see how the group looks along the way here.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking of the group, you had 10 returners start the year. Since the beginning of the year, we've kind of seen 5 players come from higher levels, whether that be NCDC or the NAL. How does the addition of those guys impact the locker room atmosphere? I know a couple of them were here last year, but I just wanted to get your thoughts and see what you were thinking of how those additions are doing.
Yeah, I think it's good, right? It raises the compete level.
Yep.
Overall, you kind of want to manage it in a little way because you don't want to shake the locker room up too much. But when there are guys, right?
For sure.
So they come in here. The expectation is when they start or play at a high level, they're going to push the pace in practice and in games and be leaders by example, most importantly. Like having Aiden Emmerich back from the Mallards, Isaac Flatley coming from the Oklahoma Warriors where he played half a year last year. Yeah. Cale Knutson coming back now. Ben Parent joined us from the NCDC. I know I'm missing a couple other guys that are joining us, but just stepping into those high pace of play roles where we're looking at them to kind of push it and create that atmosphere of, okay, we're here to advance. Okay, it didn't work out this time. Let's get back to work and let's get back up to the next level, because that's ultimately what we're here to do. Obviously, we like to win, but the first and foremost priority for us is development as people, and then let's develop them as players and get them on to their dreams and goals that they have in their hockey careers.
For sure. So yeah, going back to kind of where we were talking about Alexandria and this coming weekend, we have two teams that we've seen already this year, the West Bend Power on Friday and Alexandria Blizzard Saturday. What can you kind of do, whether that be film-wise or systematics or anything like that, to kind of gain that advantage over? I know you're obviously not going to tip your hand, but what do you see on film that kind of the boys you know that like they're going to execute with, and what's going to help us this weekend?
Yeah, I think with West Bend, just look a little bit at how it was the first weekend when we played against them. Obviously, it was both of our first games, so you don't look too much into it. Look at different tendencies that they were doing, and then just watching their previous games that they've been playing. They've kind of been getting on a roll here of late, playing some good hockey. They're well coached over there. I got a lot of respect for Jason and Jeremy. They do a great job of turning things around over there, and it's been good. It's been fun to watch them progress. It's going to be a battle come Friday night against those guys. A division opponent. Every point's important. I know everyone says that, but the reality is early on you got to try to stack them up when you can, because you never know when it matters down the stretch. But no, it should be a tough test. We'll watch film on those guys and get it over to our group and see how they look. Then Alexandria, obviously we just played them. So just look back at how they did things on Sunday. Kraus does a great job over there. Jeff got a lot of respect from him. He's done this for a while, so he's no stranger to the game. They're going to come ready to compete. They got a nice team again this year, and they're hungry, and so are we. So another good test for us this weekend, playing both Alex and West Bend, two very good teams, and we'll see if we're ready to go. But confident in our group that we'll have a good week of practice, and we'll see what happens come Friday and Saturday night.
Sounds good. Awesome. Well, Grizzlies fans, we play this weekend, Friday and Saturday. Friday, we play the West Bend Power at 7:05 here at the Rochester Rec Center. And then on Saturday, we are having First Responders Appreciation Night. So if you are a firefighter, law enforcement, nurse, EMT, or paramedic with the proper ID, if you have a badge at the door, we're going to let you in with free admission. So that's going to be 7:05 Saturday, Alexandria Blizzard at the Rec Center. Thank you guys for joining us. And after the break, we're going to meet with Captain of the Grizzlies, Noah Joyce.
Go Grizz.
All right, Grizzlies fans, on the second half of today's Coach's Corner, we are joined by Noah Joyce, number 9, and the captain of the Rochester Grizzlies. It's great to have you here today, Noah. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good. So before we get to the questions, I wanted to give Noah an opportunity to introduce himself and kind of just tell us a little bit more about him. So just kind of tell us kind of where you grew up, how you got into hockey, basically where you went to high school, all that good stuff.
All right. Well, I'm Noah Joyce. I'm from Oakdale, Minnesota, and I started skating or playing hockey when I was 2 at my outdoor rink in my backyard, and I kind of got into hockey because of my dad. He played all growing up, and his dad did too, and yeah, I was just growing up around hockey.
Awesome. Yeah. So with you now kind of coming into your second season with the team, kind of want to go back to last year and kind of your process of choosing where to go to continue your hockey career. My question is, why Rochester? Why the Grizzlies over most other any three programs?
Well, I always wanted to play after high school, and thankfully Rochester was a good place because I came down here to watch a game. The culture they had and the coaches around the organization just felt like home and a great place to come play hockey.
Awesome. Yeah. We feel the same way. So, like I said, you're entering your second season, and this was your first as the captain, actually. So, you were a captain at Tartan, correct?
Yes.
So, how can you kind of take the lessons that you've learned from last year, learning from the leadership group that we had last year, and also your lessons you learned through high school, and apply it to this year, and pretty much lead the team where they need to be leaded. So like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to use those skills?
I think my best ability is just to lead by example in games and practices, even off-ice stuff, and speaking up and using my voice when I have to at the right time.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. So going into this weekend, right, you have 2 games, 2 at home. We play the Power on Friday and we play the Blizzard on Saturday. What do you guys need to do now that you've seen both of those teams already to properly prepare and come out of the weekend with 4 points?
I think it just starts with preparation on Monday and going throughout the week by getting the right food, enough sleep, because we've seen these teams before, and we know what we need to do. We just need to play simple to our structure and our standard, and I think we'll get the 4 points.
Exactly. No, perfect. Perfectly said. All right, so now that we're done with the serious portion, we're going to go with some rapid-fire questions. You got 10 questions. Just answer them as fast as you can, and we'll get done with this. So any weird pregame rituals?
I got a big, weird stretching routine I do every day. Every game day.
All right. What's your game day playlist look like?
A lot of 80s.
Make 3 songs.
Motley Crue, Sweet Old Child of Mine, and Hungry by White Lion.
What songs by Motley Crue? Like Kickstart My Heart?
Kickstart My Heart.
Okay,
and,
I got you.
Yeah, that one.
For sure. What's your pregame meal?
I don't really like to eat before games, but I do eat breakfast. It usually switches between oatmeal, cereal, and a breakfast sandwich.
Okay. Let's see. Favorite NHL player?
Gotta go Connor McDavid.
For sure. You can't not love that guy. We know you guys have to stay busy. Veener doesn't let you guys have a lot of off time. Yeah. He wants you to stay busy in the community. What do you do for work in Rochester while you're here?
I actually work at Caston Ice Rink, and I drive the Zamboni there.
I think we have like 2 or 3 guys that do that.
Yeah.
That's the job to have, I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
What's the weirdest tape job on the team?
It's got to be GB's. He switches between the white and black tape. It's pretty wild.
That's a psycho thing to do. Do you have any superstitions?
Yeah, I always got to put my gear on the same way every day. I always have to put my left stuff on first, like left shin pad.
I feel like that's pretty normal. I feel like a lot of players are wired that way. You know. All right, best hair on the team.
I gotta go flats with the shaved head.
Oh, good Lord. So who's your favorite non-hockey athlete?
I gotta go Xander Schauffele, like a big golf guy.
Big golf guy. I like that. And then final one, because it's October, what's the best Halloween costume, or I guess funniest Halloween costume that you've worn growing up?
One year I was a scarecrow, and I just went around the neighborhood scaring a bunch of kids.
Oh, geez, that's not nice. But awesome. Well, thank you for joining me today, Noah. I appreciate you taking some time, and hopefully we'll go out there and get him this weekend. So this weekend, don't forget to go, online, get your tickets for Friday and Saturday. Friday we play the West Bend Power here at the Rec Center at 7:05, and then Saturday we play the Alexandria Blizzard at 7:05, and it's First Responders Appreciation Night. So all firefighters, law enforcement, EMT, paramedic, nurses, if you have your badge or your ID at the door, you will be let in with free admission. So don't forget to go get your tickets, and we'll see you guys this weekend.